to your Vedic Lunar Scope for today, the 30th of September, 2015. The moon today is in the middle portion of the sign of Taurus, where the moon is exceptionally strong, especially at this particular time. Also, the moon is transiting its way through the nakshatra of Bharani. And it's Bharani that we're going to be most concerned about. We'll talk about that a little more later on. First of all, what's wrong with this picture? Besides the Luni astrologer, what's wrong with that picture, right? Well, in order to move forward, you can't go backwards. You can't simultaneously go forward and backwards. Otherwise, you're going to end up stuck in a position where you're going nowhere. Seems simple enough, right? Well, you're finally beginning to make peace with this particular concept. In theory, at least. Practice, that's a different story. The problem is that there is still a very strong pull trying to hold you back when you know you should soldier on and move forward, at least inside of yourself. So with that in the equation, you're in a position where you're feeling like you have to muster a little bit of extra strength and just kind of put all of your feelings to one side. But there's a problem with that, because when you put all of your feelings to one side, then your sensitivity goes out the window. And right now you need a high level of sensory awareness, which is also going to be connected into your sensitivity, because those two things go hand in hand. Sometimes we get hypersensitive, overly sensitive, when we just need to be sensory aware. And sometimes it's hard to separate the two, right? But you need to make sure that you're not getting rid of one at the expense of the other. Okay, because otherwise you're going to end up being in a position where you create more harm than you do help. A certain level of sensitivity is very much necessary at the moment so that you're able to pick up on a shift in the environment, a change in the weather, a different manner of looking at things, a different level of awareness, a different way of seeing what's in front of you. All of those very much need to be paid attention to, which means that you need a high level of awareness at the moment. So you need to not block out to the extent that you're unable to tune in. Otherwise, you're going to miss something that is extremely important for your evolutionary journey at this particular moment in time. Bharani is an Artha-driven nakshatra, which means it's very goal-directed, and it's associated with Yama. Yama is the god of death. What does he do? He takes us from one existence on to the next one. Right? Takes us from one existence and he helps us to prepare for the next one. So he's about changes and shifts and letting go of one thing so that you're able to move into a different situation. Problem is, you're likely having a hard time with that particular process. So we need to take a look at another meaning of Yama, which is control or self-control. Pranayama, which you have probably heard of as being associated with yoga, that's about breath control. So Yama is also about control, and that's something that you need to exercise a higher level of. That's probably what I'm trying to say. You need a higher level of self-control in order to deal with the situation. The lunar tithi today is Krishna Tritiya, which means it's the third day of the dark half of the moon. And with this particular energy, because you're trying to be strong and deal with the situation, you might actually miss something that if you were paying a higher level of attention, rather than going, oh, well, I just have to get on with it, then you would probably see it instead. Luckily, with this particular energy, you have a very powerful, very empowered, I should say, solar lunar yoga, which is Vajra. Vajra means thunderbolt, and it functions exactly like that. It's like a bolt out of the blue, some information that just comes to you from somewhere because you're able to pay attention. But if you weren't paying attention, you'd miss that flash, and when that moment of flash comes and it illumines something, you wouldn't be able to see it. But luckily, that solar lunar yoga is connected to the moon. So with a strong, powerful moon today, you can be receptive. You can see what needs to be done, and you can pay attention. But if you put every single ounce of your sensitivity to one side, then your senses are going to be dulled down to the extent that you might otherwise miss it. So that's something that you need to be aware of, the fact that you need to be more aware. If you're dealing with a difficult process, whatever that process might be, if it's associated with what we've just spoken about today, or if it's associated with something that you sense coming down the road several months away, or you just are looking for a general reading, I do offer several different tiers of astrological service that are available through the astrological services page, which is linked through the link that's in the bottom left-hand corner of this video. I would like to remind you as well that my predictive course, which will teach you how to narrow a predictive window using several different techniques so that you can predict things down to within a day or two. And if you're interested in this course, there is still some space available, and you can find information on that particular course through the link that's in the bottom right-hand corner of this video. That's going to do it for your Vedic Lunar Scope for today, the 30th of September 2015. Until next time, please take the very best care of yourself. Bye now.